Want to help support the channel? Then why not check out the merch that's available from the links below in the description. Help out the channel and get more phenomenal stuff for yourself. And now with that, let's jump straight into the video. Hey Ranger Nation, welcome back to another video, and today I kind of really wanted to talk more about stuff that we've seen in Dino Fury that could affect the future of Power Rangers. But before we begin, if you want to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, as well as that cheeky notification bell, and check out the merchandise that we have in store, yeah, let's just jump straight into it. One thing, since we've had Ryjack come back with the Reanimator, we've noticed that there is definitely a thing that they could bring back past Power Rangers, as well as a monster that was in Dino Fury that could do the same thing, resurrect any evil bad guy along the way. Now, not many villains have been able to do this, or this has never really been kind of explored whatsoever, which I generally thought, why can't you do that? Why can't you bring back, say, past monsters? Now, we've seen them briefly appear, like, don't get me wrong, we've seen Saban, we've seen I'm guessing Disney reuse monster suits straight away to produce something, but we've never actually had a monster really come back properly since we saw it in Beast Morphers and also in Dino Fury. When I think about this, I don't automatically think the human type characters like Astromina, Scorpina, as well as any other female character, Vipera, you know, all male characters come along, because instantly, you know, obviously they've aged, you know, they've grown, and they may not want to come back. But when you have other monsters, you could have Diabolico, you could have Goldar come back, you could have Rito, you could have all these sorts of characters pop back now, or even have them, if you did do human forms, you know, say that they've changed, say that they've evolved past what they are, or back when they were bad guys, something like that. You know, hell, you could even have maybe young Astromina come along and be in the Power Ranger fandom again and have her as a bad guy. There is a possible way right now that you could bring these bad guys in and have a giant good story, just to be, you know, to say, hey, we want to think outside the box. And I think that's a really kind of good thing that we could think about that. Me personally, I would love these bad guys to come back and treat the Rangers like ragdolls. You know, beat them, you know, make them go like, oh my god, like, you've never fought this sort of person. This could easily lead into more and more stories all along, which would be very interesting, and it opens up to a huge, like, potential. You could have anyone come back through the entire franchise, and if, and we'll say this now, if it is a possible split, again, rumors are just rumors, take it with a grain of salt, but if the split has happened and it does carry on, you could have multiple different stories all going around to say something that you don't have to keep with the norm that's going on. And you know what? I really do like the kind of thought of that. If, say, for example, you brought back a monster that had been in, say, Lightspeed Rescue or, you know, Mystic Force or anything like that, and you brought them back for either a one-off or again for a couple of episodes, I would watch that. I would want to know how they're doing with the characters. Beast Morphers wasn't the best with Goldar Maximus, it was just very over and done with, but in Dino Fury with Lord Zed coming back, I actually enjoyed it, and I feel like it was one of the better things. And normally, I don't normally like this sort of thing, and you know, I always kind of voice my opinion if it's something like Mighty Morphing related or something like that. But I generally enjoyed Lord Zed coming back, and you can definitely see my reaction, as well as stuff that I've said already on the channel, so definitely check it out. Let's take Lord Zed, for example, with different storylines and how you could reimagine the actual costume. When Lord Zed came on the scene for the very first time back in Mighty Morphing, a lot of families, a lot of parents wrote to Saban and said, hey, we don't particularly like Lord Zed, he's too scary for our children, which he wasn't. Like, I mean, if you were scared of Lord Zed when you were a child, let me know down below in the comments. I can only talk from my personal experience, but when seeing that, I wasn't scared of Lord Zed. I just saw him as a generic monster, and I knew that he wasn't real, so therefore I knew it couldn't like affect me or go at me. But the fact is that you could turn around and remake these costumes, make them a bit more scary, and say, yeah, we've pulled this monster from this character, from this area, and then we brought him into this time. And I feel like this, again, is a cool thing that you could do that not many people are, or have done. You know, it's good storylines. I will say, when I was a kid, the only monster, and it's only ever affected me once, was Texas Pete from Brave Star, where I thought he was hiding outside the bathroom where I was when I was younger, because it was early on and I just was terrified that he was there. So I absolutely hated that. So I kind of see that Lord Zed could have been scary, you know, but I was a lot younger when Brave Star was on than Power Rangers was. It doesn't just kind of stop towards bringing back main bad guys. Effectively, if you have the suits of past monsters and stuff like that, and you want to use them again, you could easily just summon them again and be like, oh, we're going to use it. They're a bit more powerful right now, and kind of do that line. So I feel like if Hasbro, again, we have to say it's rumored split. It's 100% rumors. But if you wanted to bring back other Rangers for past series in your own new series, you could easily do that. You have the monster suits from Toei because you still have that deal going on, so you could keep these monster suits and say, hey, we're going to be using them for a bit longer. Do you mind if we do it? And Toei could be like, yeah, okay, no problem, just do what you want with it. But it also means that you could bring back past Rangers that are evil. You could bring back evil Trent because he had a deeper voice than normal. You could bring back the Psycho Rangers at any point whatsoever and keep having them that way. I think that when you have these sorts of elements kind of bringing in place with new storylines or monsters that have these abilities, or you could make one yourself like Ryjack. I don't know if, I think he was an original Beast Morphers character, but again, if Ryjack had that ability, you could make something up yourself and write it into the story and make it canon. There are tons of possibilities. I really like the thought that this could possibly happen. I'm going to jump on the other side because I know there's going to be people who will argue this, so I can see their point. But should we bring back past monsters because we've had their run? Is it the same thing as like what we see with Tommy? As soon as Hasbro needs to make some money, they'll throw in Tommy, they'll bring him back, they will use the Green Ranger, they will do stuff. Is this the same thing? And I can honestly see it. I honestly can see it. I can see it being a problem if this is what you're going to focus on. But can you imagine the team-ups? Lord Zed and Grum just randomly chilling with each other, deciding to take on the Rangers and then fighting against themselves. But I do kind of think that if you overdid this constantly, it might ruin Power Rangers and not kind of lead to any kind of any kind of original creativity. But doing it once in the blue moon or once every season or something, I think this would be a really kind of cool thing to use, and it would make the series a little bit better in my eyes. It gets people talking, it gets people wanting to watch, when's this episode coming on, or you could leave little Easter eggs to say, hey, you have to watch this one to get the full kind of counter story. You have to get everything normally, otherwise it wouldn't make sense. And if they did that, I'd be okay with it. But I know what people are like. They will just skip to watching the episode where the monster comes in, and that's particularly it. I think in general, it does get people talking about it, and it is the one thing that people love the most. But I am going to leave there. What are your thoughts? Do you think that this is a good thing? Do you think that this is a bad thing? Would you want them to bring back like past people like, say, Lord Zed, Rita, Korag, the Master, who else? All these little things. What would you think? Let me know down below in the comments. If you like this sort of content and you want to see more, hit the like button, hit subscribe, as well as leave a comment down below and check out the merch that we have on store. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.
チャンネルをサポートしてくれてありがとう。チャンネル登録、高評価お願い。以下のリンクから商品を入手することができるよ。